Okay, quick little restart on our paraline drawing here. We have set a bottom line, and we have used our skinny triangle that has the 30-degree end to set up a line going off to the left and a line going off to the right, both at 30 degrees. And then what we're revising is we're switching to 1/2 inch scale because we don't quite have enough room for 1 inch scale. And 1/2 inch scale ain't too bad. So if I don't throw that, we can look that up and find 1/2 inch scale. There we go. All right, so 1/2 inch scale, every 1/2 inch equals a foot. And I already have inches here, but I'm going to go ahead and line back up and mark the half point on those as well. Remember that your straight edge, or sorry, your design ruler here, scale rule, is not a straight edge. So these could be a little off. I'm just double checking which. I have one of them that I must have drawn just a little. There we go. Okay. And going this other way for 15 feet. Thirteen, 14, 15. Okay. What we are going to do now is we need to set up with our ruler, or sorry, our triangle here. You want this along the base of your line, and then you want to find that first tick mark and lightly draw in your first grid line. And then you will shift again, and you can keep this squared up with your T-square to some extent. I'm going to struggle with that because of the placement of the camera. And your lines should go off, and they should be parallel to each other. They should not be all, they should not be like slowly sloping towards each other. They should just continue to be parallel. So that one line wasn't quite on for me. There we go. That'll be a bit better. And then we're just going to keep moving our triangle and sketching out. We need to make these at least as long as the 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I could, at this point as well, come in and find that 12 point and sketch in my back line, because it's all going to be using this 30-degree angle to be parallel. So the back of this wall is parallel to this wall that's coming down in front. What's that look like? I need to Get this along that line and draw back in space like that. That way I know where to finish my lines, and I can do the same thing over here. I just need to find where that 15 is. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is this line. So I just slide along and sketch that in. So this line is going to be just a little bit off. Remember, if we were drawing the just like purely isometric drawing with the 45-degree angles, yeah, that these would have lined up and just been a diamond. This shifts it over a little bit into more of a trapezoid, and that helps us keep everything from looking like really stretched and skewed. It looks a little bit more natural. So I'm just going to keep going with these lines until I develop a grid going both directions for my floor. So I'm going to go first this way and then flip it and go the opposite direction, still using that bottom line setup so that I have a nice parallel lines. This is one of those things that you get graded on, is the neatness and accuracy of your lines here. So let me get this centered nicely. I wish I had just like slightly more light. Alright, I'm gonna pause the recording. So the next part is we are going to take a look at, so we have our 4 lines drawn, we have it gridded out lightly. Now, you don't necessarily have to grid it all the way out. I'd like to do that with my floor. The other walls, I will just like leave tick marks on. But the floor, I like to have gridded out like this. It makes placing the furniture easier if you have a nice grid. We are now going to pull up our vertical lines, and those are going to come straight up. So we can take the scale rule here, and or not the scale rule, sorry, the T-square, and we are just going to take our line, and I just do this slightly darker and pull up. I'm going to do that at each corner. So here I'm going to go up. This one I'm going to keep just a tad lighter. The back one I can go ahead and be a little bit darker, and then I'm going to come over here. So this one I kept very light. And this one I'm going to pull up. Now I need to measure using my 1/2-inch scale 8 foot, because that is the height of our wall. So we are going to find that. Make sure that you're only measuring to 0, not the rest of the, not all of the little inch marks over here. Oops. So we only measure from, 8 to 0, not the extra inches. So I've got that marked, and I'm going to make a tick mark for each foot along this line. I'm going to do the same thing for the back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the side. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to draw this top box on. And the way that we are going to do that, I need at least my 8-foot mark on this front line as well. There. Alright. Now, zoom out and up a little bit. Alright, so on this front line, I just put in my 8-foot mark. Each of these marks on the floor also correspond going up. And I am just going to use my angle tool to keep it flat to one of my vertical lines here. And I'm going to connect the slope here from this point to the 8-foot mark here. Okay. I am also going to flip and do the same thing, keeping my lines parallel. And then from the back here, oh, one moment. Sorry, it's up there. From, oh, I don't think I have this measured out enough. Let me double check this, because if it's looking like a little bit off, yep, okay, there's my actual 8-foot mark. It's probably because you mismeasured somewhere along this point. There we go. Because it should, on this angle, connect these 2 points. Then I have to flip. And on this angle, connect these 2 points. Now is a good time to go around, clean up excess markings. So this whole line that extends off this way can go. Any vertical lines that are out. I'm going to leave this bottom line just as a reference. But other than that, I just want my bottom line, my floor mirrored to my ceiling, and this grid. And I've kept this line really light. So we have something looking like this with that grid. We are not going to proceed to draw in every single one of these next lines that you see. So you could come up vertically with your T-square and draw in a line at each point of connection on your grid, which would look like if I drew a line here and then here and here and here and here and kept going. We don't need to draw in all of those lines, we only need to draw in the ones that we're going to end up using. And so this is where we're going to switch over to having a bit of a side-by-side view here with our assignment 2 plan. So we have our 15 by 12. 15 this way, 12 this way. We're all good there. Our wall height is 8 inches and our wall thickness is 5 inches. We can get to that in a bit when we decide which walls we're even going to leave here. Okay, so we have the same, okay, it is a little bit different because we have a sofa, we have an occasional chair, corner table, lamp, and coffee table, parson's table, and decorative floor plant. Okay. We're going to start with our sofa. And let's see. We're going to need a corner table. So let's... Oh, we should put in the window first. I totally skipped over that. Okay. Window dimensions. Woo! Okay. 4-inch rough opening. 3-foot height. And a 2-inch frame. To find these measurements, we can center on this 12-inch wall here. I'm going to squish this. Okay.
Bless you.
This will be kind of like tiny, but... So on the 12-foot wall, we can find where we want this sofa. We want it centered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the center line. If I count 2 back here and 2 more here, I can draw up using my T-square the lines in which this window will fall. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 feet on either side, and this coming up. I should then, I know that I'm coming a 3-foot height, and let's center that on our wall here. So our wall is 8 foot if we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're centering 1.5 feet. So I'm going to need to grab out my little scale rule, and at the 1, 2, 3, 4 mark, I'm going to find another, I'm going to set this at 6 inches and then come down to 1 foot and put a little marking there. And then I'm going to come to my 4 and mark it at 1 foot and 6 inches. Alright. So 1 foot and 6 inches is this mark and that mark. I'm going to double measure that to make sure that's 3 foot, because it can be easy to lose my marks. 1, 2, oh, it's this one. So make them a tad bit bigger so I can see them. That's there and there. Now I'm going to use this to, I have it lined up along my T-square, which is something that you can't quite see. And I am going to draw the bottom of this window, slide it up to this next mark, and draw the top of this window. Then I can come back in and connect along these lines that I drew. Anything that's a little darker. There. I am also going to draw the frame for it, which is 2 inches. For that, I am just going to bring my little scale rule over here and find my 2-inch marks. So let's see. Let me find this. Right about there. And then there. And then I can also measure out from here and here. For these, I can use my T-square. I just gotta find that mark. And then here, I will need to bring in my triangle. Alright, now I have that framed out. And I can go ahead and clean up any little leftovers. I'm trying not to erase the grid underneath. Just kind of clean up any little excess bits there. All right. And they give us a 36-inch by 7-foot door. Let's go ahead and put the door in this wall. And we're going to kind of have an interesting drawing here, because if I had been thinking, I would probably have put the window in one of the back walls. It'll be fine. We're just going to have this kind of represented coming through here. So let's put the door. The door is 3 foot by 7 foot. All right. The good news is I already have little markings here, so I can just bring along my scale, or no, my T-square, and pull up the door, and 1, 2, 3, up the door, and then find 7 foot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And okay, the top of my door comes along there. And I need to extend these up a bit. And here, or so this is 7 foot. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foot in. And then this is just 3 foot wide, so you can just count 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm gonna get that nice and drawn in. Yep, because I had one of these lines just a wee bit off. That one. Okay. All right. For the rest of this drawing, we are going to pretend like essentially this top wall right here and this wall that we're looking at, like it doesn't exist. As though it's like a diorama and we're staring into it. We're still going to draw the furniture as though if it's touching the wall or similar, but we are not going to like draw in anything on this wall. All right. Anything else? No, that sounds good. Okay. So this sofa, 72 inches wide and 30 inches deep. 72 inches, that 5 foot? Eventually I'll remember it. Six. Okay. Alright, 6 foot. Let's decide where we want to put the sofa. Let's think about what else we have to put in here. We have a corner table, table lamp, and a coffee table, and then a Parsons table. Does anybody know what a Parsons table is? I feel like that's just a term I haven't heard. I'll probably recognize the type of table. Oh, okay. It's also known as a console table. Okay. Okay. And they want that console table to be 60 wide, 24-inch deep. All right. So those traditionally sit behind a sofa if the sofa is not facing. So maybe we could kind of actually like put the sofa somewhat like almost centered in the room, and then we could have a corner table. Trying to think if I want that or if I just like want it like, I think it'd make most sense to set this way because you could put like a TV or something on the wall, either that way or this way. Let's go facing this way as though there was like a TV or something on this wall, since we're not going to end up sketching it. Okay, so we want to decide where we want it in our room. It's a little bit more intuitive than doing the floor plan, because you can kind of be like, okay, 6 foot, that's 3, 6. It would kind of be like there or here. I think I like here. So I'm going to mark these corners. Oh. And you can vary the floor plan up a little bit if you want. You just want to be following these same steps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So along this line here, I'm going to, gotta grab the right triangle, and I'm going to use it to sketch in the back of my sofa. And then it is how wide? Our sofa is 30 deep. So that's just shy of 3 feet. So it's going to be about there, but I want to measure it. Let's do 1/2-inch scale and measure it at 2 foot, 6 inches, right there. I'm going to just use this basically as a straight edge, and the corner of my couch comes there, and then this one you'll want to line up along the bottom line so that you're getting it nice and parallel, and just slide it back and forth until you're on this mark. draw that back, and then we can just sketch this in. At this point, I am going to erase out this corner of the top of the wall, and I'll end up removing some of it as I go. I want to extend the couch up now to a, let's see, a back height of 30 inches. So let's figure that out first. I'm going to give myself a little mark. Gotta move this for a moment. Where I just give myself a light line, kind of coming up like that. And I'm going to find 30 inches along that line. So that is 2 foot 6 inches. And let's mark that at 6. And then the 2 foot is right there. Okay. So I can bring this in and mark that. All right. I'm going to erase out a little bit of this window too. If I went in to render this in a real like scenario, I would probably bring like this wall just in far enough and then kind of like feather it out. But I just bring it in just far enough that we would see the edge of that window so that we knew that that's where we were looking from. Okay. Now I do need to follow this line, but up here, so I need to create a parallel line. The way I'm going to do that is by getting my tool set up correctly, and then I need to find a line. I can use my T-square. Okay, and I'm going to slide it up. So tee it off and slide up to come across this way, and then use the T-square to just come from the back corner up. And I'm just going to continually kind of erase anything that gets in the way here. Okay. So I have the footprint of my couch on the floor and how high it goes up. It's almost as though I just took like a piece of cardboard and folded it up. But I want to find the seat height. The seat height on this sofa is 18 inches. So I'm going to find 18 inches along this back corner. I keep flipping this around so I don't have the correct, there we go. And let's see, that's 12 foot, or sorry, not 12 foot, 1 foot 6 inches, right? Yeah, 6, 7, 8, yep. So at the 1 foot mark here, I don't have that high enough then. What did I do? Did I measure this in the wrong? Because that should be 30, which is, oh no, that's, is this just a low back couch? Maybe 30 inches, and then this is the kind of stuff I have to think about. 18. Just 1 foot 6 inches. Okay. Yeah, it just kind of has a low back.
Where are we measuring this?
So along this back line, we're going to find our seat height, and that should be that 18 inches. Yeah, for some reason I'm like looking at this and it just looks really long, but I've triple checked my measurements, you know, measure twice, cut once or draw once. Okay. Now I'm going to slide this along and draw my line out, and I can find where these front lines are just by extending them up with my T-square. And then I have to find out, using my T-square and my angle, where these things square off. So that comes that far. And then I've got to flip it this way to get this parallel on the back. Okay, from there all the way to the back. So that's what our seat height looks like. And we should be able to find the seat cushion thickness, which is 6 inches. So if we come down 6 inches here, we can sketch in the cushion depth just along the front. We don't have to sketch it in going in a different direction. It just needs to be along that front. So right there. So now we have the front cushion and the seat height coming all the way back. Notice this is very chunky square furniture. So the cushion depth from seat height is 6 inches. So I measured down from our seat height. The seat height was 18 inches. Which just like seems like really like this is a low back couch. Okay. And the arm and back height are the same. So I can pull up the arms here and here, and then use my tool. I need to go this way and make sure it's actually square. To mark here and here. Okay, I've created this really blocky looking couch piece now. I'm going to erase out any lines that are like intruding in my space here. And then the last thing I need to do is I need to figure out the seat depth as well as the cushions for the back and side. This is all kind of figured out. The seat depth is figured out when you figure out your back cushions. So my back cushions come out a total of 6 inches as well. And so from here, I'm going to just measure out 6 inches. And while I'm doing this, I'm also going to measure that in here and here on the arms because they have the same. So let's angle this again just for a second while I, at those little marks I made for the arms, put in my lines. Then I need to mark the back and I need to bring out a line going here and here so that the arm cushion connects to the back, which is going to require me to flip this, slide everything to the other side here, and square that up, and square that up. And then I'm going to draw a new line here at the bottom because that's how far my arm cushion has to come in. And then I also need a new line from here to here. Oh, that's a little off. That's what I get for not actually using my square. Flip this again. And something about what I'm looking at is off, because this should line up here. Just gotta figure out what I did. Oh, okay. The reason that this looked off is I forgot to accommodate for the 6 inches that the cushion comes in here. And now that I did, there we go. This could, how did I get it correct? So I was trying to make it square up along this plane, which is the seat plane, yes, but I forgot that I have to come in 6 inches this direction from this back line to accommodate for the back rest, and then that's where this actually lines up for the seat depth. Just like a bunch of little steps to remember here. Sorry. How far forward? Yeah, okay. So from the back, because my back cushion depth is that 6 inches, let's find out. I'm going to, along this seat line here, I'm also going to come in 6 inches there. Now when I line up my T-square here and I find this little mark, oh, I was a bit off, but right there. I think I marked it at 8 inches. I am not winning my points for neatness this time. I need my other ruler. Or not ruler, eraser. A real fine one. And then So you'll notice how this furniture is super, super boxy. One, we've just been given like rough dimensions. All that we know about it is boxy. We don't have a picture of any of the style lines or anything like that. But two, these boxy shapes we actually start using as the foundation for making those more complex shapes when we work in, what is it, 2100. So now I like to just come around and just shore up any lines. If I have a face that's just facing towards me, like this face where I don't have any cushions or anything like that, I like to make sure it's nice and clean and erased. And then I'm going to drop my arms through here too because, well, yeah, for this I'm going to just drop them straight down. I was going to say, some couches do have like that little like elbow on the cushion that kind of comes out. We're not going to do that with this one. It's going to be like very, very modern and square. Okay. And then erasing this extra seat cushion line. You'll want the line that's along here and here for that cushion. But everything else can pretty much go, including this little line back here. All right. Everybody's couch is looking pretty much like this. Yeah. I just like coming in and verifying this all one last time before I move on. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. The next thing that we need is an occasional chair, which I think I'm going to set like over here. And the occasional chair is 30 inches wide by 30 inches deep. So that is 2.5 by 2.5 feet. And let's bring it in just a little bit from the wall. And I think, yeah, we can push it up to the wall here. So I'm going to bring it in about 6 inches from this front wall plane. And I'm going to do that by just measuring in along one of these lines, about 6 inches. And then I guess I'll just measure from that to my 2 feet. And then I have the width of my occasional chair along this line. Then I need to measure that back here as well. So let's set that at 2.5. Alright, so I have a little mark here, I have a little mark here, and a little mark here. That's what I need in order to... Yep. 30 inches. Ooh, I put a hole through my paper. Whoops. Alright. So, I need to line up my T-square. I need to push my 30-degree angle up, match these 2 points. I have a line there. Now I need to match these 2 points as well. So that is a flip and a line right here. I also have a secret parallel line running back here and a secret line running right here. I'm just going to like lightly dot those in for now because we are going to work on drawing this chair using fewer lines and erasing than the couch. So the couch, we kind of built it out section by section. This one, we're just going to draw in the lines we need as we go, hopefully. All right. So this chair now needs to come up. It has a, let's see, back height of 30 inches, as well as the arm height, and the seat is 18. So I'm going to give myself a little mark going straight up from this furthest left corner. And on that, I'm going to mark 18 inches. So that's 1 foot 6 inches. And then I'm going to mark 30 inches, which is 2 foot 6 inches. From that point, I am going to take my T-square and my triangle, and I'm going to draw a line towards the front here and match that up to a line coming up the front just that far. And then I'm going to mark my arm height, which I need to have following this parallel. So that's another flip and up. I'm going to draw that back this way. I could also mark around here and draw a line up to that, because that will be my arm height on this side. It will just follow this parallel. I do need to mark in the 6 inches of cushion. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, and I'm just going to do that along the seat line here, 6 inches and 6 inches, and then the seat cushion is also 6 inches in thickness. So let's get this arranged right about there. Alright, so my chair arms are coming up like this. We'll have to do a little erasing for the front of our seat. And then my seat cushion depth comes down to about here. My arm height comes to here and here. So from that total height. And then I'm going to measure along this line back 30 inches, which is at 2.5 feet.
How far did the chair go out?
So I pulled mine about 6 inches out from the wall.
No,
Or
in the front. On the bottom tower.
this,
The bottom.
or
Yeah.
from here to here.
No, like from left to right. Like the front of the chair.
Oh, 30 inches,
This is how much.
which is 2.5 feet. It should just be along that parallel. my next lines need to all be going back along this way. And so I'm just going to go back like so. Back. And back. And then here, I need to bring it back like that. Okay. This line, I think, got a little off. Okay. Whew. We need to also mark in flipping things the wrong way. Right where this corner is, we need to draw a line back there for the bit of the seat cushion that we can see. We need to draw a line coming straight up from the back. This is where we mark the back of the chair across, and we need to come in 6 inches from the back of the chair as well for that cushion. So 30 inches as well. It's like just a square.
The standard height of a chair is about...
Oh. Sorry versus Siri. Okay. Let's get this. Alright. 6 inches right there. Okay. So now I have these lines running this way, these running this way. The last lines that I need to do is I need to come in 6 inches from what would have been the back of the chair. And I can do that in a couple ways. Either I can drop this down and figure out where they meet and then just line that up like that, or I can measure the 6 inches in, draw that line, and kind of mark this all out and figure out, okay, it's 6 inches in from this line along here as well. I find it easier just to find where they're meeting and then draw a line that I know is parallel to the front of the chair. So we have that. And then, oh, I did not drop this arm all the way down to the floor. Okay, so you should have a chair that's looking like this. Once again, come in and clean up any lines that you need to darken.
So how, sorry, mine got all this stuff.
That's okay.
So how high is the seat?
The seat is the seat is 18 inches height. So that's the top of the cushion is 18 inches. And then we drop down 6 inches for the actual depth of that cushion. Yep. Figure out let's do the coffee table, because that will typically come in front here. So typically you want like 2.5, 3 foot of space. So I am going to put the coffee table. Ooh, do I want to be annoying? No, I don't. which is 36 by 36. So it's a big old square. And it's a 3-foot square. So I think I'm just going to, let's put a corner there, 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 and there. Because it's 36 inches and I already have my things measured out, my grid here, I can just come in and use my triangle to mark in the front 2 lines here.
How big is this? How big is this?
36 by 36. So it's 3 foot by 3 foot. By 18 inches high. So where I need to find my height is along this front line here. Oh, from the corner. Yep. And I need to be able to actually draw it on the corner. There we go. I'm going to figure out where 18 inches is. Okay. And, oh, I was like dead on. Sweet. Okay. So from this 18 inches high, what I'm now going to do is find the parallel line going this way that's 18 inches high, as well as the parallel line that is going this way at 18 inches high. What I can do after that is simply use my T-square and measure up, measure up. I have to scooch for a second. And then find my parallel lines, just measuring back from those points until they meet. So coffee table, super simple. Literally just like this low-lying box. Yeah, I probably should have. I'm going to leave that in my notes for next time. Because I was like, oh, I'll just start at the top of the list. Oh, yeah, sofas are kind of annoying. And then it's like, oh, yeah, we're just going to do the 2 like most perspective-y pieces. Should have started with this coffee table.
I mean, it's hard to map that out first, though.
Yeah, like in your head. I swear there's like some sort of poster or something that Nancy has of these that I just cannot find. And I was getting all the quizzes ready and forgot to be like, hey Nancy, what is the layout for these things? So before our next one, I will either look at it and create a little layout, like digitally, that we can put up, or something, because we would have like a little floor plan or something to go off of if we were going to draw this out. All right. Let's see. Let's do the Parsons table. That is 60 inches wide by 24 inches deep and 29 inches high. I just realized that if I went to put this behind the couch, I can only see like a tiny bit of the corner sticking out, which is fine. So what we'll do to figure out where this Parsons table would stick out is we're only going to see like a little bit of it here because it's both lower than the couch and shorter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out the depth, which is at 24 inches, and I'm going to measure out that 2 foot, which actually I think is just the amount of space I have behind this couch. I think I'm actually going to put the Parsons table under the window. I think that'll look better. Plus, then we don't just block off any access behind the couch here. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so that'll be easier too. Parsons table, 60 inches wide, 24 inches deep. So 24 inches deep is just this 2 foot mark. So along here. And then 60 inches wide is, that's the 5 foot. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's 5 foot. So we can just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here. I am going to draw a line going up from this point, and then up this way and this way, and then 29 inches tall. Yeah. This is where I actually have to do a measurement. Okay, so 24 is 2 feet. So that is 2 foot 5 inches. No. What am I doing? 29 inches high. Two foot 4 inches approximately. I was so close. Turns out there's a 0.6 repeating. Let's find that. 2 foot 4 inches. Here's my 2 foot, and let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. Alright. From this point, I'm going to measure my table height. That comes just under the frame of this window. And I can push it out this way already too. That way. And then coming here, tight at the corner. Oh, I did not quite go far enough there. Erase, erase. Okay. Now I need to flip this. And from there, 2 foot 4 inches. Kind of an annoying height. Okay. And then do the flip. Okay. And this is probably where, on my drawing, about right here, is I would make like a little dash mark. And up until about this point, I would have the wall be solid and visible, and then you could see like my Parsons table and stuff here. You would also be able to see it partially through the window. I need to clean off the back of this. It's got like so many smudges and stuff that it's really smudging up my paper. No points for neatness today.
So, are we erasing part of our window?
Yeah, I ended up erasing part of this window just because I'm putting the table here so that you can kind of see into the room a little bit more. But I'm putting a little like dashed in line here that if I was to come in and render this with like marker or more functionally, I would like have what the outside of this wall looked like up until this point, and then I'd like feather it off and I would have this drawing full and complete behind it. I could have put the window on this wall and then I wouldn't have to worry about that. But, you know, come see, come saw. Like, it's like a little... We have a corner table left, as well as a table lamp and a decorative floor plant. Alright. Corner table. 30 inches wide, 30 inches deep, 24 inches high. I'm trying to decide if if she just means a table that's in the corner or a table that fits in the shape of the corner. You know what I actually think I'm going to do? I'm eliminating that corner table, and we're going to turn the table lamp into a floor lamp and put it in the corner. So I'm going to make an edit of this in real time here. Edit. Okay. We are going to get rid of the corner table. It's no bueno. Well, are you going to let me edit it? Now maybe? Okay. Overall height, 31 inches. Let's change that to 50 inches. And this is going to be a floor lamp. And okay, everything else should be good. I'm also going to put 12-inch diameter for this potted floor plant. Okay, floor lamp. Overall height we want to be 50 inches. We need to decide where we want it first. I'm just going to set it back in this back corner here. Oh, yeah. Good call. I'm going to set it back in this back corner. We're going to measure from this point, so where our floor lamp stands on the floor, up 50 inches, which should be that 5 foot. Oh. No, it's 4 foot. Let me, it's just going to be 5 foot. I'm going to put it at 5 foot. I will edit that. I'm tired of these little fiddly inches. And we're gonna measure up from there to 5 feet. That is our overall height. We need to draw a line straight up from there to our overall height. Just like that. Then we have change this to 5 foot. All right, so our shade diameter is 18 inches at the bottom and 15 inches. And then we have a base to add on. So our drum, 18 and 15. Let's do that 15 first. So from here we need to measure down 15 inches. Find the correct scale. Which is 1 foot 3 inches. So right there. And we've got to kind of do a little bit of figuring a few things out. So this is where on our lamp pole that bottom ellipse that we are going to need to draw, where it's centered. We need to measure out this way 18 inches going across, and then we will have another ellipse coming parallel, or another crosshair coming parallel this way and one parallel that way. So it's good to get the crosshairs actually in there at the right height. So we're going to draw that way and then flip it and this way. Along this line is where we're going to figure out our diameter, which is the 12 inches, right? Nope, 18. So we measured down 15, we're going to measure wide 18. Okay. So I'm going to, we just need to choose one of these, and I think I'm just going to keep it here. Why do I keep losing this today? So I'm gonna do along this that's going up and off to the left. I'm gonna measure my 18 inches. So 12 plus 6. So if I set that at a foot, and this is about at 6 inches, that is where part of my, okay. So we have this figured out. What we need to do through here is round out our ellipse by just drawing kind of this squash circular shape. That's about a half circle. Then we're going to come straight up here and as well back here, but I need to move around the camera a bit more. and from the edge here. And then we are going to try to replicate this ellipse up here as well. So things are getting pulled a little bit, and it's most obvious with the lamp here. All right. Then we actually need to erase all of the stuff that's in here. You can keep a little dot here on top that lets you know roughly where that center line is coming up through. I need to drop my ellipse just a little more, I think. And then we have to do the base, which is going to be a square base. And that square base is going to be 16 inches height and 12 inches square. So from here, I'll find 16 inches tall. So 1 foot. 4 inches. And then it's going to be 12 inches. So I'm going to use this part with the inches, and I'm going to center it on 6 and mark out 6 inches from each side of this center point to make my square. Okay. How does this end up actually looking? Well, it ends up with us drawing a line here and here, and then those basically fall on that, and we've got to that line go there. Okay, I get to the bottom of this squared up. Oh yeah, I'm doing something really weird here. What do you think about the bottom of this lamp? We only have... Yeah, and I think we just need to change it. Alright. We are going to stop here. We will resume on the Wednesday after break.